Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex. Uh-oh. Wait, can you hear me? Yeah. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see who was here first. Remember, there are no prizes for being here first, except I say your name. Let me see here. What? Fancy, fancy. Thank you very much. Okay. Now my slides did not load. Wonder why. Try that one more time. Uh-oh, let me see. There was an issue. Please try again in a little while. I don't have a little while. It's either now or never. Okay, let me try something else. Before we go any further, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to open up another screen. Not use Siri. I said screen, not Siri. So hopefully that works. And let me try it one more time. All right, come on, don't let me down. Oh, it looks like it's going to work. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes, there it is. Okay, I tell you, StreamYard is a blessing and a curse all at the same time. Remember my microphone didn't work? And some of you all was like, it's time to get a new microphone. I'm like, this is what is this thing? It's a Shure microphone, Shure. These are the best you can buy. Surely there can't be a problem. And you know what? It just stopped messing up. See, sometimes you just have to have faith and patience. And I promise you, it's going to work out. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer. Okay, let's get on with it. By the way, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. So, what was the title today? Let me see. Meghan Sussex, pregnancy obsession. Prince Harry, global leader. Duchess Sophie, that big pitiful mess. And what else? Plus more. I always say plus more in case I think of something else later. Hey, Bunny Rose, Lydia Washington, Sonia Johnson, Jacqueline Rippey, Joya Moore, Mamie Ricks, Carol Lunn, Maurice Brown. Did I say Lydia Washington? Vanessa Jones, Dedra. Who else? Laris Frazier. I was about to say Frazier. Deborah Anderson, and a host of other people. Okay, let's get on with it. Living her best life in sunny California. The Sussexes haven't posted anything lately, which is okay. It's okay because they got places to go and people to see. Plus, don't forget, you guys. Meghan said that before June is over with, there's going to be all your favorite products back on the interweb, on the website, plus some new things. So we still have that to look forward to. So do not despair that you didn't get anything the first round. I believe that there'll be better stock this next time around. There won't be as big a surprise, and who am I kidding? This stuff is going to sell out so fast. We're going to be sitting up here crying like a rat eating onions. But that's okay. Um, I think, well, okay, I want to believe that everybody who really, really needs something from the website will get it. That's what I believe. Okay. But have your credit cards ready. Try to be quick off the blocks because, you know, you don't want to miss your opportunity. Okay. Um, there was a terrible plane crash today in India. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner um, went down, and all but one passenger died. And of course, there were some fatalities and injuries on the ground. Um, as far as I know, this is the first of such tragedy to involve one of the technically advanced Boeing 787 Dreamliners. Uh, if you've flown on one before, it is a plane mostly made of a composite material. So the skin of the plane is less aluminum and mostly, um, if not all, composite, which is so many times stronger than aluminum or steel. And for that reason, it's a very light aircraft. The range is longer. And this particular model was the Dash 8. There's Dash 8, 9, and 10. 10 being the biggest, of course. And just what I learned recently is that the difference between the 8 and the 9 is about 20 feet of length. So, anyway, the plane is made for long distance travel. And so far, the plane, which was grounded originally for a long time because of issues with things like the batteries and um, I can't remember the other issues that they had, but the plane was like a few years past due before it even hit the market. And it has been reliable ever since. They worked out the bugs, and then it was a very, very reliable aircraft. I've flown on it many times, and I would look forward to it so I could sit there and play with the windows. You dim the windows by pushing a button rather than letting the shade down, and that was so cool. I looked forward to it. So um, it has grown into one of my favorite aircraft ever. So I'm just shocked that something like that happened because it's still relatively new. It is, how do I put it? Well, anyway, the one thing that I did notice is that um, they said that I forget what they call it, it's a turbine that drops from the plane. And that turbine is it looks like a propeller. I mean, it basically looks like a propeller, but it's what the pilots use when all power is lost. And that is what they're saying, is that it appears as though there was a systematic power failure while they were about, I think, 600 feet in the air. All of a sudden, they lost the power. And so they released that sail. So I guess the best way to explain it is if you were flying at altitude, right? And for whatever reason, there was a systematic power loss. How would they control the basic functions of the aircraft? They would release that turbine. It drops out the bottom of the plane. It looks like a big fan. And what it does is it uses the air circulating around the plane to turn the generator to give the plane just enough power to do some very necessary things like communicate. I don't know if it can help with the rudders and such, but as you know, most of these planes nowadays are not using the old fashioned cables. You pull a lever and it's connected to something. Now it's wired, it's all electronic. So I would imagine that it would help with that. So I just I saw like a picture of it. You have to be very careful because nowadays with AI and with so many pranksters and such out there, God knows what they get out of it, but they will, throw some scene in there that has nothing to do with the news of the day. And but that was deployed, and so far what they're saying is that the plane must have had a systematic failure. I don't know if there was a bird strike or something like that, but they are definitely going to, um, collect as much of it as possible. They're going to move it to a very large hangar. They're going to lay it all out on the floor. And they're going to piece it together and they'll sort it out. But flying with the major airlines has been extremely safe. And so it it really shakes people up when something like this happens, and rightly so, that a commercial aircraft suddenly plummets from the sky because most of us just expect to get from point A to point B, and hopefully it will be very uneventful. Um, we worry more about the service than about the aircraft, but it was a real tragedy, and the plane was going to was it Gatwick in the UK? Was it bound for Gatwick? Let's see. Flight data shows how the Boeing Dreamliner flew in from Delhi to the western city of Ahmed Ahmedabad this morning. Yeah, it was going to Gatwick. Okay. I think this is an older story because it's saying no survivors, but now we know that there was at least one survivor. And well, I'll show you some more about that in just a moment. Okay. Let me see if I can get a little bit of an update so we can. Okay, this is from an hour ago. Oh, there was three women. A Chicago woman says three family members were among those. Okay, I'm looking at my local news. Let me see here. One known survivor. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much of an update because um, I think the date just has started in India. So, but yeah, so that's what I know so far is that there's one survivor. Unfortunately, the plane hits, and when it crashed, it um, crashed into a medical school where there were, I guess, doctors in training or such. And so I don't know how many people on the ground were injured or lost their lives. Yeah. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go here and just show you, um, just to put a face on the tragedy. You can see here what is it? Pratik Joshi, London-based software professional, his wife, Dr. Comey, and their 3 young children. They had only just taken that photo. And then there's a couple right there, Jamie Ray Meeks and Biango Greenlaw Meek. Unfortunately, those partners were lost. And down there, you can see Dr. Nirali Patel. And I could not figure out what the name was there. I only saw that one name. So I put the Sakina bin, and there's the pilot and the first officer. And there's a Canadian dentist, Dr. Nirali Patel. So yeah, it really, when you start seeing names and faces and such, then it's not just a bunch of statistics, it's real people. It's real people, not just, you know, nameless, faceless people. It's not just numbers. When you see, especially when they have taken photos just before takeoff, and Jamie and Fiango, they had actually made a video promising that they were going to work on a blog to narrate their visit to India. But I believe for both of them, it was their first time in India. And they were saying that it was mind blowing. It was absolutely mind blowing. So let's see. Megan's Gem says a pilot friend of mine thinks the co pilot hit the flaps instead of the gears up and it caused a major drag. Interesting. Interesting. Now that would contradict what I heard earlier about both engines failing and the what do you call it, that turbine being released, which again, all of this has to be sorted out because there are so many people that are going on social media and they will put a picture of an aircraft that has nothing to do with today. And it's just an unfortunate thing. So we'll probably learn more in the next hours, but that may have very well happened with the flaps. It could have been, gosh only knows. So, but thank you for sharing that with us. And of course, we will pray for everyone who has been affected by this tragedy. The families that were waiting patiently in London for their arrival, the families all over the world with the loved ones on the plane. It, yeah, well, it's definitely a tragedy. And would it stop me from taking my next flight? Absolutely not. Um, it is still the safest way to travel, and life is going to happen whether we're ready for it or not. But if it's unnerving, then I would say, don't fly right now if it's unnerving to you. But I, for what it's worth, anytime something happens like this, it strengthens the aviation industry, not weaken it, because we will learn from it. They will learn from it. So, but yeah, so that happened today, and it's a real tragedy. Now, I'm going to say this one more thing. I don't know who I was having a conversation with, but it was a conversation about where we are seated on the plane. And that person, and I can't remember who, was saying, I'm sitting in the back. That's the safest place in the back. The back has all the advantage. This illustration here, well, actually, I guess it's like Yeah, it's the seating chart. On the left side, A11 is where the lone survivor was seated. On the other side of the plane is J11. His brother was seated on the opposite side. Both of them had window seats. It appears as both of them were seated by the emergency exit. I'm thinking what's in the middle there is the restroom uh, and galley, and that emergency exit. There may have been a wall there because that's where you board the plane. Um, from where the arrow on the left is, when you board the plane, you're not going through first class. On the Dreamliner, they usually have you board um, from the by the seat A um, 11 for this particular aircraft anyway. And for those with the business class, you'll go left, and those with the um, coach tickets, the standard seats, you would go right. So what I'm trying to say is, it's just by chance. It didn't matter where you were seated. All but that one individual died from the flight. So that there goes that idea about seated in the back of the plane. Oh, well, so I just wanted to shed a little light there in case you're not in the back of the plane and you're feeling panicked about it. It may not matter anyway. And this guy right here, he is a journalist, Josh Cahill. Air India can be a chaotic airline at times. Delays, changes, and outdated cabins are well known issues, but they aren't unsafe. The staff is well trained, and India has some of the strictest aviation regulations in the world. I had over 20 plus flights on them in the past, and I would always fly them again. My thoughts and prayers are with the airline and families today. So, this guy is an aviation guy. I believe I've watched him on YouTube before, and he's flown some of every kind of airline, some of every airline possible. And there are so many fail safes when it comes to air travel, meaning that they have a lot of redundancies um, baked into it. And in spite of all of that, things can and will still happen, but we can mitigate that by, doing our best, not sometime, but every time, and, checking each other's work and so on. It's a miracle that an aircraft can do what it has been doing for decades. And sometimes we go, gosh, I don't know how many years without tragedy. And and then occasionally you'll find that something has gone wrong, but still more people die in car accidents than flying on a commercial aircraft. Yeah, that's a good one. The checklist. The checklist. Absolutely, the checklist. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. If you're a bit unnerved and you have to fly soon, do know that it is still the safest way to travel. You are more likely to have an accident in your home than on a commercial aircraft, um, or crossing the street than to die on a commercial aircraft. That's just statistically the facts. Hey, Legs, thank you so much for joining us. Uh, Chris Barron Smith. That is not me. That is someone else on the social media. Prince Harry at the first Travelers Global series of executive summits, where industry leaders and regional policymakers came together with the Duke of Sussex to discuss the sustainable future of travel and tourism. The summit featured high-level roundtable with industry leaders, including Trip.com Group, WWF, what is that? World Wildlife Fund, China. Visit to Thailand and Go Turkey. And details of the discussions from the executive summit will be shared on the Travelers website in due course. So there were some photos that went along with this. I don't think I've ever seen this photo before, but I love this pose where they're up high like that. Together with our partners and extended global network, Travelers is the leading industry initiative working to change travel for good. And right there at the center of it is the founder of Travelers, that agency that no one likes to talk about in the tabloid media, that agency, that group of individuals that are trying to make travel less impactful on communities and on the environment, that Travelers, that they dare not speak of because it would put Harry in a very positive light. Yes, that Travelers, to which he is the founder, unlike Sentabale, where he is a co-founder. This one, he is the founder, the founder. His name is Prince Harry. And just in case there's anyone from the tabloid media listening and they didn't get it the first time, Prince Harry is the founder of Travelers, which has brought what is it? Billions of dollars worth of companies together to change the way consumers think of travel. That's all I'm saying. I think they got the point. I think the people in the cheap seats can hear me. Harry is the founder of Travelers, the Duke of Sussex, Harry. Here's another photo. So I don't know. Again, I don't know. I'm guessing these photos are from today. I don't know if they're stock photos, but I will definitely try to make sure that if there are some updated photos that come through in the next day or two, that I will provide those for you because, like any proud godparents, we're always glad to see what the Duke of Sussex is up to. So, and we'll handle our business. Right on. And let's see. There's this one. And of course, the lady in the bright colored top there, that is what's her name, Davies. She is the person that Harry recruited to be in charge of everything. Yeah, and she's doing a great job. So, Travelers is in safe hands. Like I said, they don't like to talk about this because it is something that has brought a lot of travel related industries together, and they'd rather avoid any conversation about that because this is much bigger than some dumb Earthshot award. So much bigger. You got credit card companies, hotels, airlines, all of those, high earning corporations, all of them involved in this. Corporations that are responsible for moving millions of people every year, housing millions of people every year. So Do your thing, Harry. Do your thing. Trip.com, no problem. The Duke of Sussex is on it. Now, this guy right here, the notorious JTB, we love this guy because he just gets it right. And when it comes to articulating the impact of the Sussexes, few people can do it better than he can. So let me cue that up for you. And he is on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, then you need to get over there and follow him and support his work.
$5 million for veterans recovery programs. Over 1,900.
Oh, you know what? That
left royalty behind. What they didn't realize is that Prince Harry was building a legacy bigger than the crown. Let's talk about the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025 and why this is one of Prince Harry's biggest wins ever.
Hello, Canada, and bienvenue. I'd like to begin by honouring the First Nations who are hosting this year's games. Lilwat, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh. Haitsa, Kukwila. In this moment of difficulty and division in many parts of the world, we gather here in Vancouver in a spirit of unity. We represent 23 nations, speak many different languages, and reflect the full breadth of the world's religions and faiths. Beyond any differences, here at the Invictus Games, we are grounded in mutual respect, competing fiercely but believing in one another, supporting one another, and rooting for one another.
While the British tabloids continue obsessing over who's wearing what and who sat next to who on the palace balcony, Prince Harry just helped kick off a history-making, globally impactful event that united 23 nations and inspired millions. 534 wounded, injured, and sick service members from across the globe showed up in Canada's mountains to prove that strength isn't about perfection, it's about perseverance. And under Harry's original vision, this wasn't just another sporting event. This was healing. This was family. This was justice. The Games left behind more medals. We're talking $5.5 million for veterans recovery programs, over 1,900 trained volunteers, new sports infrastructure, a national school program, and a new trained volunteers, new sports infrastructure, a national school program, and a new standard for inclusion and global cooperation. Not to mention a sold-out stadium of 40,000. Coverage reached over 3.6 million Canadians, and the anthem performed by Chris Martin of Coldplay. That's not just impact, that's culture shift. This was the first ever winter hybrid Invictus Games. First time Canada hosted, first time First Nations were partners in every aspect of the Games. And it worked. Let's be real. While critics keep crying about Netflix deals and tabloid drama, Harry's out here making history. Not with a crown, with purpose. Prince Harry didn't need to keep the palace to lead. He just needed the courage to build something that actually mattered. And now, he's got a global movement, real legacy, and the receipts to prove it. They said he left royalty behind. What they didn't realize is that Prince Harry was building a legacy bigger than the crown. Let's talk about the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025. And
okay, so I think it started to repeat there, but you know what? Let's give this guy his flowers, shall we? All righty, then. I tell you, sometimes you just get it right. This guy gets it right every time. Not sometime, but every time. And he makes me proud that I am on the right side of history, and so are you. Okay, so thank you, Notorious. The Notorious JTB. Thank you very much for that. Well done. Well done, you. All right, and let's see. Soul Brother, thank you so much for being here. Oh, do I want to do this one now or do I want to get to this one? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. I didn't realize they were back to back. I prefer not to do that. But it will affect the flow if I don't do this one right now. So yeah, I'll do that. But this young lady, I've never seen her before today, but her name is Tanita D. And she's also on TikTok. God bless TikTok. 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 Oh my God. Anyway, God bless. TikTok is TikTok. Oh Lord. Anyway, while the channel is still up and running, before the censors get me, we better move on. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to go back and take that part out. Okay. Anyway, God bless TikTok. Oh, why does that stick at the end there? I don't know. But anyway. All right. You know what? I totally love. Okay, I was gonna share this thing with you. Oh boy. Okay, this is what happened. I was eating peanut butter pretzels, like the ones that Meghan had got for what's his face? The makeup artist. Anyway, ever since I saw that, I have been addicted to those things. And I think my tongue just got stuck from the peanut butter because I ran and got a mouthful while the guy was talking. So that's what I get. I think the peanut butter fused to the roof of my mouth and my tongue. So anyway, that is what I'm going to tell them in court. Should this go to court, I'm going to say, listen, I was eating some peanut butter pretzels.
Almost. So given all that, it's no. Why is Black motherhood so controversial? From traditional media to online spaces to hospitals, Black motherhood is systematically challenged, and in the case of famous Black women, scrutinized with a level of cruelty seemingly only reserved for the melanated body. See, this whole frenzy surrounding Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is yet again an example of how famous women of color, particularly Black women, are more likely to have their pregnancies contested. And while Meghan is mixed, the point still stands as she's a woman of color of African-American descent in a space people feel she doesn't belong. To give you an idea, searches for Meghan fake bump have apparently increased by over 4,000% in the last 90 days. Some people simply can't accept the fact that she's carried her own 2 children, and to me, that ties into a larger question of why is being melanated, rich, and pregnant so triggering? Believing a Black woman when she says and shows you that she's pregnant shouldn't be a whole thing, and yet, but why? Why? Well, I think the reason for all of this is twofold. For one, people, really society at large, is threatened by Black women in positions of power, whether professionally, privately, mentally, or physically. See, because Black women have historically been defeminized and perceived as less than their white counterparts, there's still this seeping discomfort with seeing a Black woman so visibly and proudly experience the ultimate symbol of femininity. Consequently, these false concerns and quests for the truth really only have one goal: to put Black women back in their place, really to take them down a peg and strip them of a femininity believed to be solely reserved for white women. And the second part of the reason, to me, is that people just don't know what pregnancy looks like for Black women, doctors included. Studies have found that doctors tend to doubt Black patients at higher rates than white patients and more readily question if their reactions are authentic. Take Serena Williams, for example. She had a pulmonary embolism during her first pregnancy and had to fight for her own medical care because her doctors just wouldn't believe her when she said something was wrong. She almost died. So, given all that, it's no surprise that in the US, Black moms are 3 to 4 times more likely to pass away from childbirth than white women. And all of this, everything I talked about, is wrapped up neatly under the bow of misogynoir. Why is Black motherhood so controversial?
Okay, so as she mentioned, they doubted Serena Williams when she was having issues after childbirth. She said, something is wrong. Something is wrong. And it turns out she had a pulmonary embolism. There's so many cases where doctors still believe, and there was this one doctor, I forget her name, but ironically, she was a white doctor who has spent a great deal of her career trying to convince other doctors that are non-Black that Black people feel the same pain. Their skin is not thicker. They're not resistant to disease and injury any more than the next person. But there are still people that believe, and these people have gone through medical school. They believe that Black people don't feel the same kind of pain. They don't believe that Black people get ill in the same kind of way. And also, when it comes to pain relief, Blacks are less likely to receive any type of painkillers because it's assumed that either we don't feel the same pain or we're just making it up because we have issues, because we have an addiction. These things still happen. So when it comes to Black women and pregnancy, I guess it's difficult for some people to believe that I can't even explain it. It's like they want to take their femininity away from them. There's always this thing in society where they're trying to prove that any woman with a strong will is obviously born a man. Or they just plain don't want to believe that they have children. And in particular, Black women. They're always trying to take motherhood, that nurturing, closest bond that any woman could ever have with their child. They want to take that away from Black women. When did this become a thing? Has it always been a thing? And so Meghan, no exception. Almost immediately. Even like, for instance, you look at the image of Meghan there on the left, and you can see her stomach is protruding in a way that doesn't even seem possible for her small frame. But Meghan said what did she say? She gained 50 pounds during pregnancy? Well, it went somewhere. And there it is. But they just cannot believe that she was pregnant. They don't want to believe it. And those that know better, they are earning money, creating doubt. Oh, was it 65 pounds? Good grief. So, Feminegra, moon bump misogynoir, why Black motherhood is always questioned. Why Black motherhood is always questioned. As you guys know, Feminegra has been doing an amazing job, especially where the Sussexes are concerned. And I'm so grateful for what they do every day, every day. So the article says, in modern celebrity culture, pregnancy announcements usually spark celebration unless the woman is Black. Then come the moon bump whispers. The moon bump whispers. Meghan Sussex, Beyonce, Serena Williams, and Michelle Obama have all been accused of faking their pregnancies. These claims weren't based on medical records or credible reports. They were born in message boards, tabloids, and conspiracy threads that couldn't accept the idea that these women carried their own children. What connects these rumors is not just celebrity obsession or internet speculation, it is misogynoir, the specific hatred aimed at Black women, where racism and misogyny merge to deny their femininity, their authenticity, and respect. While white public figures enjoy broad acceptance of their motherhood, Black women are forced to prove theirs. Why Black women face scrutiny about their pregnancies? In 2011, Beyonce appeared on Australian television while pregnant with Blue Ivy. As she sat down, the fabric of her dress folded. The conspiracy theorists insisted her bump had collapsed. That's right, her bump had collapsed. The moment became viral, proof of a prosthetic or moon bump. No matter that she later released footage of her sonogram, including clips of her pregnancy in an HBO documentary, and gave birth to twins years later, the rumors stuck. All of that because of the way the fabric folded. Michelle Obama's story was different. She gave birth to her daughters before the world knew her name. That didn't stop people from insisting that is, she was never pregnant, because there were few public photos of her pregnancy. Conspiracy theorists filled the void. Some took it further by promoting lies that she was a man, an attack that sought to erase both her motherhood and womanhood all at once. Serena Williams won the 2017 Australian Open while pregnant. Instead of praise, some questioned if she really carrying a child. Is she really carrying if she was really carrying a child? Her strength became evidence against her. Her accidental Snapchat pregnancy reveal sparked more doubt. By 2022, her clothing at public events drew speculation. In 2023, when she confirmed her second pregnancy at the Met Gala, users still scoured photos for inconsistencies. Meghan Sussex faced perhaps the most frenzied speculation of all. Her every public appearance while carrying Archie drew intense analysis. Online posters tracked her bump shape, her posture, even how she squatted in heels. They claimed she was too thin, too active, and too private to be pregnant. British tabloids gave these claims oxygen. Hashtags like Meghan Markle was never pregnant still trend, kept alive, that is, by people who treat her body as a public battlefield. Across each case, critics frame these women as manipulative, masculine, or deceitful. These are not medical questions. They are cultural attacks meant to devalue their motherhood and cast them as liars. They don't reflect curiosity, they reflect control. How misogynoir fuels these conspiracies. Misogynoir doesn't always appear in headlines. Sometimes it's spread through whispers, memes, and hashtags. It tells the world that Black women are less womanly, less truthful, and less deserving of empathy. Their bodies are dissected, their words are doubted, and their identities are erased. Serena's story is particularly revealing. Her 2017 childbirth nearly unalived her. She experienced a pulmonary embolism and had to fight for her own medical care. Despite that trauma, some claim the complications made no sense for someone so fit, implying the pregnancy was staged. Beyonce bump became public property. Michelle Obama's IVF story was ignored in favor of conspiracy theories. Meghan's body was dissected on social media with a cruelty that no white royal ever endured. Kate Middleton, for example, faced little more than gossip about morning sickness. Her pregnancies were never considered fake, despite similar levels of privacy and protection. And by the way, Kate Middleton, who is a very slender person, one could have argued that Kate Middleton, in so many photos, did not appear to be pregnant. But eventually, Kate Middleton's face became larger, her body became larger. She was obviously pregnant. And the same with Meghan. Meghan fought like hell to lose that baby weight, and it was quite a battle. But eventually, she lost the weight. And for two women, both Meghan and her goofy sister-in-law, both of them notoriously thin, famously thin, for them to gain weight and to have not been pregnant, you have to really do some mental gymnastics to make that work, to make that reasonable. Let's see. I think this is the last part of it. Yeah. So the last part of this article, it says, when Black motherhood is treated as a threat, not a truth. These conspiracies go beyond denial. They strip Black women of their children and their children of dignity. Some critics even referred to Meghan's son Archie as a doll or reborn baby, reducing a child to a prop or a racist fantasy. Others dismiss Michelle Obama's IVF disclosure as if fertility treatment somehow invalidates her motherhood. Behind these theories lies a deeper discomfort with Black women's presence in spaces of power and tradition. Whether in the White House, Buckingham Palace, or on the global music industry, their visibility challenges the expectations that white femininity defines womanhood. The backlash comes cloaked in false concerns about truth, but its purpose is clear: to dehumanize. The internet didn't invent these kinds of scrutinies, but it amplifies it, especially on platforms like X, where misinformation spreads unchecked. And if it does so within systems that already fail Black women. In the UK, Black mothers are five times more likely to die in childbirth, while white women, I'm sorry, Black mothers are 5 times more likely to die in childbirth than white women, while in the US, Black women are often dismissed by doctors when reporting pain. In both countries, Black motherhood is not just doubted online, it is endangered in hospitals and institutions. Final thought. Final thought. When people question whether Meghan, Beyonce, or Michelle ever carried their children, they are not searching for truth. They are reframing a belief that Black women do not belong at the center of motherhood, power, or femininity. These conspiracy theories are not harmless speculation. They are modern echoes of century-old beliefs that cast Black women as unnatural and unworthy. Believing a woman when she says she is pregnant should not be controversial. But when that woman is Black and powerful, her word becomes suspect. That suspicion isn't just unfair, it's misogynoir. And it persists because we haven't named it for what it is. Again, Feminagra, thank you so much for this enlightening article. And Tara Wilson, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being here on Royal Sussex. So there you go. You guys do check Feminagra every day. I mean, if you got time for any other news source, let me show you the spelling. There it is on the right side. They do have a website. And I wonder if they have a phone app. I have to check and see if they have a phone app. That way, if they do have a phone app, then you can grab the news from Feminagra. They talk about all sorts of topics. And it's one of the few places where we know that the Sussexes will get a fair and accurate article written about them. Other places, you know how it is cash and carry, but they do an amazing job, and I think that we should all support them. I'm just saying, in my opinion. Okay, I'm checking to see if there's a phone app for them, because they really, really do deserve our support. And what do you know? There is not a phone app. Gosh, that's too bad. Well, I hope they get one. At least I don't see it. I do not see it. Yeah, I don't think they have one, at least not one for Apple. But anyway, gosh, they do a great job. I guess developing a phone app is very expensive. Joy Moore, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. You see what I mean? The whole idea that if Meghan is pregnant, how could she possibly stoop down like that? But nobody questioned the immaculate heart of Kitty. Now, before I came on, 46.9 million people watched that dance on Meghan's, let me see. Yeah, still 46.9. 46.9. So let's just say 47 million people have watched it. And let me see what Oh, Meghan has 3.8 million followers. I think that is still about the same, but let's hope that by the end of the weekend that Meghan has 4 million followers on her Instagram. Gosh, I wish it was something we can do to promote the Instagram even more than what it is now, but I would love to see her Instagram get like 10 million followers before the end of the year. Sophie. The royal family doesn't need Harry and Meghan. Why bother? They got Sophie. Sophie is being heavily promoted right now. She is being heavily promoted. As a matter of fact, this slide is actually out of place. There it is right there. Meghan's an influencer. Sophie has real influence. Royal experts damning verdict on Harry's wife. Oh, that's condescending. Wasting her potential on jam and rose. A rosé, jam and rosé, while Duchess of Edinburgh visits war zones and champions women's rights. Now, you all know, you know what? Just as I was thinking it, I looked over and saw this. I was about to say, now you all know they full of it. So let me show you some of Sophie, Duchess Sophie Wessex. Let me show you what some of her talents are. Touching Black children, standing in front of a very tall woman, touching more Black children or babies, touching a whole bunch of Black children, watching her husband touch Black children. And then she, of course, grabs some more of them. I think that bottom right photo, isn't that from, oh no, that wasn't when the Queen died. She'd be wearing black. But anyway, I don't know which trip that was, but yeah, that is one of her greater talents, is touching Black people. Reach out and touch somebody Black and make sure every camera sees that. Reach out and touch somebody Black and make sure every camera sees that. You got to make sure that somebody see you. Reach out and touch somebody Black. Because if nobody sees it, then it doesn't count. It's like it never happened. What other talents does Sophie have just beneath the surface? Oh, walking down the hallway with somebody Black. And on some odd occasions, she actually embraces white people. I know, I couldn't believe it either. Oh, that was Tanzania? Oh, okay. And of course, wearing jumpsuits. Nobody can dress like the Crackerjack Boy and Gumby in the same time, in the same outfit, better than Sophie. And of course, another one of her talents is trying to dress like Meghan. Go and find yourself a very smart, attractive, tailored coat and put a white beret on, right? And by the way, I still say that is one of the best looks she's ever had. What I don't understand is, if you know you can look that chic and elegant, why do you still pull out those frumpy, miserable, awful floral print dresses? I mean, she has some dresses that are so frightening and so scary. They put Kate's Country Cottage kitchen curtains to shame. I mean, hideous outfits. She dressed like that one day, and I guess she got panicked that people were complimenting her, and she went right back to that dumpy dowdy, matronly stuff that she wears all the time. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, it's never going to, be perfect because after all, it's Sophie. But I just think when you have a dumpy build like that, you should never, ever wear a jumpsuit. It just doesn't work. She has her proportions do not lend to a jumpsuit. It borrows. It doesn't lend, it borrows. Now, one of the squatties said, Oy vey, I wish they would make me that what but seriously. Striking dress. She got a good figure and access to a lot of fashion lines. Why do their staff sabotage them so much? I mean, who leaves the house? And this was Easter. This was Easter, a celebration of faith, and yet she walks out the house in one of the most garish looking frocks I've ever seen. It is hideous. Hideous. And you couldn't tell her she wasn't causing it. Another one of her talents is speaking to the Queen Consort, which is why they call her the Consort Whisperer. Nobody can conduct a conversation with the Queen Consort better than Sophie. They understand each other. As you can see, she actually made the Queen Consort smile. See there? Smile just a little bit. Also, nobody can hit another person's car like Sophie, right? That's a secret weapon if I've ever heard one. Now, I don't know that the Sussexes have ever gone around randomly smashing into people's cars and then taken off. But yeah, Sophie police car hit me and drove off, claims the woman. How many times has Sophie been in a wreck? It seems like she's a liability to the royal family more than an asset. I mean, thanks to her, the insurance for the whole fleet of vehicles has gone up. And then, of course, nobody can run down an old lady better than Sophie and her entourage, her motorcade. I mean, they literally run this poor old lady down. Why were they in such a hurry? I mean, you look down the street, you can see her little shoe still spinning in a circle. It's just awful. Sophie is a one-woman liability, and yet they want to say she's an asset to the royal family. I don't see it. But remember, nobody does it like Sophie. Makes me feel sad for the rest. And of course, nobody can wear leather pants like Sophie. Nobody can wear a leather dress like Sophie. And you know what? Nobody ever should. Again, that little dumpy butterball of a woman should not be wearing leather pants. She doesn't have the legs for it. Those little nubs are not, those little stumps, the little tree stumps she called legs. You don't put no leather pants on that. What was she thinking? It is offensive. That is absolutely offensive. It is an affront to good fashion. Are you a working royal or are you a patron of Studio 54? They wouldn't even let her in Studio 54 dressed like that. She couldn't even get into Area 51 dressed like that. And then, of course, the leather dress. What was she thinking? This girl thinks she is just the cutting edge of fashion. She is literally walking around like a rent-a-center couch. Okay? She is walking around like a couch from Rent-A-Center in broad daylight as though nobody's going to notice. I don't get it. I'd be so embarrassed if that was my mama, walking out in leather pants and a leather dress. That is pitiful. Pitiful. Oh, there's secret weapon Sophie, who refuses to wear a bra. Yeah, who refuses to wear a bra. Now, of course, Meghan is not as top heavy as she is, but she still wears a bra. But Sophie, no, I don't need to bother. I'll just tuck it into my belt. Yeah, I'll just tuck them into my belt, and then we can go. Is that really what you wanted to do, Sophie? You wanted to tie him up? You wanted to tie him down? You're afraid to win and catch it? And then, of course, nobody can walk behind Kate. Nobody could walk into Kate's footsteps better than Sophie. It certainly wouldn't be Meghan. Meghan got out of there before they got that on film. Yeah, Meghan got the hell out of there before they got that on film. You know, if it's one thing that they were hoping is to catch Meghan doing a curtsy to Will or Kate, you know they couldn't wait for that. They wanted so desperately to get Meghan on film doing a curtsy to the Cambridges. And it just never happened. Not even when they had that little dinner when Meghan was running around barefoot in torn jeans, and here come Will and Kate dressed like they're going to a job interview or something. And of course, nobody stares at Kate like Sophie. Look at Sophie staring, thinking about the fact that she's going to spend the rest of her life following Kate Middleton, walking in her shadow. Or how about here on the right, where she was staring at Meghan like she had lost her mind? Could not stop staring at her. And nobody can wear a hat like Pharrell and Sophie. Sophie gets so bored sometimes, she's like, I think I'm going to get me a hat just like Pharrell Williams, and I'm going to wear that to church. And she sure did. She went and found her a 10-gallon, I can't say, you know what? I just noticed I never saw that appendage on the side of that hat. Do you all see it? What is that? Is that a handle? Is that like a purple whale? Do you know, I just saw that for the first time. I'm not making that up. I did not know that there was something sticking out the side of that hat. Wow, that is weird. The shape of it is already kind of goofy. Please tell me Philip Tracy did not do that. I don't want to believe the Philip Tracy company made that hat for her. Please tell me they did not do it. And then, of course, nobody yells at the staff like Sophie. Remember, she yelled at her royal protection officer, got all up in his face, pointing her finger, her little pudgy finger, her little dumpy pudgy finger on her dumpy, pudgy hand, on that dumpy little pudgy arm of hers, all up in his face. Poor little dumpy, grumpy Sophie. Look at there. Harry and Meghan might take a note. Prince Edward bounced back from royal knockout and Sophie's PR scandal with hard work, knuckling down and getting on with the role without fanfare, experts say. Proof you can be welcomed back into the fold. That is a hard no. And I'm not qualified to speak for Harry and Meghan, but let me just be the one to say it. Nope. I think they prefer happiness rather than that institution. Nah, we good. We good. We don't need that. We good. And then, of course, there it says, you probably don't know this, but for the past 4 days, Prince Edward and Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, have been on an action-packed royal tour of the Cayman. Of course we didn't know it. Do we ever know when Sophie and her weirdo husband, do we ever know when they do something? No, because nobody's interested. Nobody is interested in what they do. And yet they are trying to build her up again. They keep doing that. Remember when she went to New York? You see on the right side where she's talking to the lady, and this time she's wearing the leather dress with a black sweater or jumper instead of the maroon. Nobody knew she was in New York. They had to take they paid a photographer to go with her. There was no hype in the local media. There was no mention of her on the local news in New York City or any place else for that matter. Nobody cared. The typical locale and busy itinerary should have provided royal reporters gold, especially after the couple have been hailed by the British media as the family's, wait for it, secret weapon and central figures for the future of the monarchy. They've been saying this for years. But despite the hype, no one, including said press, appeared to be watching. At the time of writing, I can find only a tiny handful, around 8 articles about their visit, 2 of them belonging to the Cayman Compass and the Cayman News Service. Instead, the media outlets have kept the focus on a couple they repeatedly called irrelevant, Harry and Meghan. Duh. And what about this one? Richard Fitzwilliam. God, he's full of hot air. Richard Fitzwilliam. Pompous, arrogant, and pranked into embarrassment, Richard Fitzwilliam. He says, Sophie Wessex boots royal, I'm sorry, let me try to do his voice. Sophie Wessex boosts royals with huge success in U.S. after Meghan and Harry damage express something, it says there. Sophie is an exemplar of a hard-working member of the royal family with relatively low profile. She does a great deal of good. It doesn't matter. How do they say it? If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a sound? If Sophie goes to New York and nobody covers it, was she actually there? Huh? If Sophie wears leather pants and there's no one there to hear them swishing together, were they actually worn? You know, there's an all-encompassing phrase that we have used here on Royal Sussex time and time again. It was definitely needed before, and is certainly needed now.
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Yeah, girl, go sit down. Sit down. Sit down, because it ain't working. If I can quote Mr. Bill Clinton, that dog just ain't gonna hunt. Look at this. Sophie has been, and I'm sure it says the royal family's secret weapon. There on the right side of that, it says, Duchess Sophie, secret trip to New York. Duchess Sophie is the firm's secret weapon. Royal commentator says, all of these, I Googled Duchess Sophie, secret weapon. And all of these came up. This is the biggest open secret there's ever been. It's so secret, it doesn't even apply. It doesn't mean anything. Nothing ever comes of it. The secret is very well kept with 66 million British that have kept the secret. That is the biggest secret of them all. 66 million people won't even speak of it. And dare I say, almost 66 million people never heard it. Well, Kate, and don't forget the York sisters, their secrets too. And who else? Oh, what's Sophie's daughter name? She's been a secret weapon. And who else is a secret weapon? Zara the tongue ring Tyndall. Zara Tyndall is a secret weapon too. Woman who set up stylish shoe company, beloved by A-listers, received King's Award for enterprise, and Camilla has at least 11 pairs of her heels. Well, what they didn't tell you is that there is also a Camilla Award. You see it there on the right side? This lady was lucky enough to receive a Camilla. It's not as well known as some of those other honors, but I was able to dig it up. With some careful research, I found this very singular and unusual portrait of the Queen Consort on this ribbon that is given to people that Camilla individually wants to honor. So this lady was lucky enough to receive the Camilla. As a matter of fact, here's a couple of the pairs of shoes that were custom made just for the Queen Consort. You see there? These are ideal for those more casual occasions when Camilla wants to, wear something for the afternoon, something that can kind of take you into the evening, right? And then there's these for more formal occasions, like, for instance, a coronation, when she trundled down the aisles of the Westminster Abbey like an old wheelbarrow full of gravel when she went trundling down. When she went trundling down the aisles of Westminster Abbey like some old lumbering old Cadillac Coupe de Ville that's seen better days, a Cadillac whose springs have sprung and whose hydraulics have failed. That trundling down the aisles of Westminster Abbey. And the thing is, there's a flip side because, you know, everybody sees something different in the Queen Consort. So on the top side of it, the official side, there is the portrait of the Queen Consort on the left. But if you flip it over, that's more in line with what the what Princess Diana spoke of. So either way, you could wear it one side or the other. One is just as accurate as the other. It depends on the lighting and the mood. It depends on how she conducts herself. But there are many ways that one can be honored by the Queen Consort. So, but you'll be hearing more about the Camilla Award in the future. But just remember, you saw it here first. Yeah, you seen it here first. But whatever award she gives out, she's no Elizabeth Windsor. She'll never be Queen Elizabeth. She'll always be a big sloppy mess. She's the Tamu queen. Isn't that what Royal Duchess calls her? Oh my God, I was watching Royal Duchess and I think she kept calling her the Tamu queen. I just about flipped out of the chair. I screamed. It was so funny. After a while, I thought that was her name. But yeah, she's a big, sloppy, slouchy, trundling down the aisles of Westminster Abbey mess. If anybody can ruin a perfectly good, regal uniform, is the Queen Consort. Very disappointing. Now, don't forget, you guys, there is going to be the Republic people visiting tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? No, it's Saturday. Trooping the Colors. They're going to be out there with their yellow and black signs. So I cannot wait to see some of the footage that is made available because they're going to post it online, and I am definitely going to share it with you because I think it's exactly what Charles deserves because he has been awful, and so does Camilla. Isn't that amazing the way that one sign is framed perfectly through the carriage window? And they're looking at it too. You can barely see it in the photo, but they are definitely looking at it. Yeah, so Trooping the Color protest in 2024, Republic staged an iconic protest at Trooping the Color, interrupted by royal long-established balcony moment. The royals exploit the military and the trooping as a PR exercise, wearing medals and ranks they haven't earned. That's why this year we're turning up with an even bigger and better protest. Make sure to pledge and protest with us today. So I'm not telling anybody what to do, but it's the 14th of June, 2025 at the mall. 8:30 a.m. is when they're meeting. Location and timing will be protesting on the mall near Buckingham Palace. Protesters will be gathering at this location from 8:30 a.m. on Saturday, the 14th of June. So Again, I don't tell people what to do. I just like to make sure that the information is available. And if you're lucky, perhaps these guys will show up. Yeah. No is for, N is for not my king. O is for obviously not my king. T is for thanks for putting me next to M. And Y is for M is for surprisingly manly. And Y is for well, anyway, you know what those mean. But yeah, we'll see if M shows up. If you've never seen this photo before, these people went to Buckingham Palace, and at the opportune moment, they either discarded their jackets or opened up their jackets or whatever, the sweaters, jumpers, and exposed the lettering on their t-shirts. And they stood right there. I think they're in the ballroom or something. But they stood right there and they exposed their shirts and took a photo to let people know that they were able to get inside of the palace and make the laughing stock of the anyway, that is what happened. Now, remember, Prince William said it's his life mission to bring peace to the Middle East. Prince William pledges to make peace in the Middle East his lifelong project after historic 5-day trip to the region, to the likes of which he's never returned. He has no solutions. As a matter of fact, the last time he spoke about the Middle East, there were some very highbrow royalists who told him to stay in his place. So, yeah. But anyway, all hell is breaking loose tonight, in case you haven't heard. I don't know what's going to happen, but you guys just remember, there is nothing happening in the world today that has not happened before. The big difference is everything is recorded, everything is filmed and shared by people like myself, people like you. Any of us can be a reporter nowadays. Any of us can be a journalist. If you have a smartphone, then you have your own media institution right in your pocket. So I know people say all the time, like, oh, things are so this and so that. Don't get caught up in that negativity. There's always been war. There's always been hunger. There's always been all of these things. It's just happened to different people in different places at different times. It's not to say that we should be okay with it, but it is part of history. And I would hope in this modern age that one of these days we'll get it right. But so far, not a whole lot has changed. So, again, you might find yourself struggling with some of the news of the day. But, if you need to step away from social media, if you need to step away from the mainstream media, do what works for you. Take some time away. Go out for a walk. Go touch grass. Go and do something to relieve that stress and pressure. There's other things you could do. Watch a movie. Work on a craft or something like that. And I promise you, when you need us, we'll be here. But you have to take care of yourself first. So just remember to do that. Don't think that if you don't catch everything, you're going to miss something and the world is going to fall apart and you'll be the last to know. No, you won't. Somebody's going to tell you, listen, the world is falling apart. Did you know that? Trust me, somebody's going to tell you what you need to know. So don't be afraid to step away. You're not going to miss anything, I promise you. Oh, Gummy is back. Gummy, with all of that fleshy grin of hers. Well, anyway, she's never really went anywhere, but I think she's got her comeuppance. One of the squatties said, I am screaming. You see that? This was an exchange or exchanges that happened on her. Now, mind you, I don't look at her page. I don't give her any contact. I'm not helping her with engagement. This was shared on my timeline, so I'm sharing it with you. What a ridiculous question and speculation. What is wrong with you? Nothing. I've just been watching royals for years, and this was actually briefly a thing, just an interesting thought. Now that's Gummy saying that. And so someone else says, no, not interesting. It's insulting and disrespectful at a time when Catherine will be feeling intensely vulnerable. I see why people have blocked you, muted you. I don't know what started this, but I'm loving it. Why on earth would any right-thinking person speculate about a marriage between two people who are each happily married to others? Just some fun food for thought. And then this other one says, it's really not fun food for thought. It's disrespectful, not only to these individuals, but also to their spouses and children. That ship would have sailed a long time ago if there had been even the slightest possibility at the time. It's in very poor taste, especially whatever that was. But this person, I think her name is Brittany something. This person has, from what we hear, a degree in communication. She is like the evil version of what's her name? The one who says she's teaching media literacy. She's like the evil version of her. She really is. I think both of them academically have similar backgrounds, but this Brittany person, she is so hypercritical of everything Duchess Meghan every day. It is to the point where it is just obscene the way she carries on. And not only have people been dragging her, but according to Duchess of Success, they said that Meghan Kelly was being dragged on her social media. I really do enjoy the comments. I rarely comment, but I do like to see when someone is getting dragged, especially on their own timeline, on their own platform. And it's refreshing to see that. And quite often, people are dragging the Daily Mail, oh, guess it's a slow news day, huh? Oh, what's that? Claire Kane is asking for prayer and financial assistance for an upcoming surgery. The link to her channel is in the chat. Oh, okay. Let me pin that to the top of the chat. Ooh, let me see here. Okay, there it is at the top of the chat. And thank you for the super chat. Okay, let me take that away. And check this out. They say that Canadians have, I think they said the travel from Canada to the United States is down 40%. 40%. Travel between Canada and the United States is down 40%. And you know what? I don't blame them. Remember, elections have consequences. That is very, very accurate. That elections have consequences. Travel from Europe to the United States is down a great deal. One of the reporters, I forget her name, but let me see. Is it Christian Amanpour or some other woman journalist, very esteemed journalist? She actually traveled with a burner phone because she had heard stories about people having their phones checked at the border by border control and such. And she was just so nervous flying to the United States. Well, fortunately, her visit was uneventful, and especially because she was coming here to speak at a graduation, right? I guess she was doing a commencement address or something. And she was very nervous. And there's been some horror stories about people traveling. And you guys, if there's one thing that has bothered me, is the fact that people invest a lot into their travel. It's expensive. Sometimes it's a once in a lifetime thing, and that someone can just disrupt that. Weddings, funerals, graduations, it doesn't matter. All has been interrupted for people from 22 countries on a whim of the occupant of the White House. I hate that. I really do hate that. I cannot stand it. That is just wrong on so many levels. It was wrong the first time that happened, and it's wrong again because it's so disruptive to the lives of people who have nothing to do with geopolitical situations around the world. They're just trying to be with their families. So I don't blame anybody who says, I'm not going. That's totally your prerogative. Spain is nice this time of year. Try to get there before it gets too hot. Because it gets hot. You hear me? It gets hot. But yeah, it's other places to go. But let your conscience be your guide. Is that right? Yeah. I don't like that stuff. It is very heavy-handed, and I don't approve of it. Now, one of the squatties posted this earlier today, and I may have seen one or two of these individually before, but this is a great collage of photos of the Duchess of Sussex. It really captures different moods. And yeah, I think it's lovely. So it's something about our Duchess and denim that just goes together. So I'm going to leave you with this image, and I'm going to thank you all for being here. Make sure you send out your strongest prayers for Claire Kane. And let's see, Marcelina Martinez, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being here tonight. Greatly. I love that name, Marcelina. That is pretty. That is very pretty. But yeah, so I will leave you all with that image, and make sure you pray for all of the squatties that have found themselves struggling with their health. And there are a few squatties that are taking care of their loved ones, like, of course, our beloved Lady Sussex. And I don't want to say the name of the person, but there's someone in Texas who herself has been unwell, and she's actually caring for her sister. She has been caring for her sister. And so, again, there's a lot of people that need as much of the prayers and positive energies as you can project out into the world. And of course, the families of the disaster this morning that seemed to catch everyone off guard. So, but remember, whatever is happening, we will get through this. We will get through it. We always do. Thank you. Love you guys. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. I will see you all next time. Hopefully, there'll be something great and good posted by our Duchess tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that because I'm kind of going into withdrawal. She's been very consistent. And, I need my fix. I need something Sussex, and I need it now. So I don't care if it's pruning roses or rolling cookie dough or something like that. Give us something. Whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. I don't want to ask for too much, but I'm just like, really? Not even Instagram? Oh, 47 million. Yes, Meghan just made it over the 47 million view mark. I just checked it. 47 million views. You know what? Let's dance our way out of here, shall we? Let's dance our way out. I think that deserves a salsa. We'll dance our way out today. Okay, let me make this happen. Okay, salsa. Now, see, I knew everything was going too smooth. That's what happens. They lure you into a false sense of security, and next thing you know, something is not working. Here we go. Hit it.